Hey guys, it's Desi. I thought whilst I've got this up I might as well do another tutorial for you. So we'll talk about tag placements and how to do like tagging. I would highly recommend, if you haven't already, is to find some like free font tags. I have got a few. I stopped making them or stopped offering them, but this pack here, so pack 8, I'm going to be giving everyone access to who watches this tutorial. So, and it'll probably go in my DeviantArt for free. So or even my pay here for free. This is the one I'm going to offer you just so you can play around with font stylings. Do not use these for custom work because frankly I don't own the rights. I only own like 2 fonts here that allow for commercial use, and in theory if you want to be extra good you shouldn't be using these type of fonts without the commercial license. So yeah, if you can avoid using them for custom work, appreciated. You can obviously change the fonts. There are a lot of free source or open source fonts out there that you can use for commercial use, and there's also a lot of resources out there that allow for commercial use of their fonts. So yeah, just type in commercial fonts. I believe if you could just go like this, Font Space does have some. Creative Fabrica is also another good place, but yeah, these are basically available for commercial use, so you can use any of these for commercial use, which is really handy. But yeah, you can always use some of these instead of using my versions, but obviously I'm just giving you these so you can play with them. But yeah, other than that, I'll show you how to do it. So these are your fancy font tags. I'm going to show you a basic one. Obviously this is the edit that I just made a minute ago, the stack style that I did for everyone. So one of the simple ones that I tend to do, and I'd also always recommend you do it, especially like the simple kind of font tags, do them above the PSD. I just think it looks so much nicer, because sometimes you'll write like, you'll do your font tag or something and it just doesn't look right. I'm just going to use my old Daisy Johnson one for this, but yeah, you'll see what I mean. So let's just say we're going to use Arial Narrow. We're going to leave it, let's go 9. Over here we're going to put tracking. We're going to make it so it's quite wide. Based on shift, let's take that off. So yeah, that's your text. As you can see, it looks a bit fuzzy. Well, to me it does anyway. It might just be my eyesight. Let's say we put it down here. If I then add an effect to this, so with simple ones I kind of tend to do a glow. So I'll do like a glow like that. Let's just adjust this a little bit. And let's add in a drop shadow as well. Let's take the distance off. Let's do not use global light. Right. So as you can see there, it's got like a little like yellowy, orangey, or yellow, I would say orange, yellow hue to it, which to me, it just doesn't look right. If I was to drag that above, it keeps that nice white like look, and to me that just looks so much nicer already. Ignore my Margaret in the corner, as I call it, or my Amazon Echo. But yeah, I just think that looks so much nicer. You can, if you wanted to, you can do like a little box around it. I've been doing this quite a lot lately. Not a white one, we do a black one. Like so. And then you can also, if you wanted to, change that effect. So you can do it as like a gradient overlay. Do it that way. I don't know if they've actually got any, no, pre-made ones on here. Let's go that colour. And let's just do blue and white. But yeah, you can play around with it like that as well, and you can also then, obviously, if you wanted to, put your outglue back on it or your shadow. But yeah, like so. I hate that the extras don't always hide. So you could do it fancy like that if you wanted to, so it's like fancy but basic. But if you wanted to obviously use one of my ones, then what you do, find one you like. Some of these are quite old, but let's go for number 4. You just grab that folder, drag it onto your project, file, free transform if you're not using the shortcuts, pop it wherever you want it. As you can see, obviously you can adjust this. If you're doing this on computer it might work a bit better than mobile, but yeah, you can then adjust it and obviously change it to what you want. I'm just going to leave it heaven made for now. Not a big fan of how this looks on here though. It looks a lot different than what it looks like on on Photoshop. But anyway, that is how you do it. And again, this one you could, in theory, add it underneath to match the colour scheme. That I have no problem with. That one actually looks better. But when it's this, like I said, when it's the easier one or like the simpler one, it just looks so much better to me personally when it's above the layer rather than underneath. But yeah, with the font tags, there is no really right or wrong way, just what looks better. Once you start doing more and more edits, it will get easier for you to kind of like know where to put them. I have done a video on this before, many moons ago, but for example you can see quite obviously on this edit that this corner is ideal for a font tag. You could, if you even wanted to, you could even go in the middle, but I would say actually because there's a gap there you could leave it there and that would be fine, that would look really good. I'm trying to think if I've got any like edits that I could play around with. Let's just make another one just so I can show you. Actually, I have this one. This one that I made on the first whatever tutorial. If you were to like drag, let's drag the same one in. This in, you can already see that this is going to be somewhat difficult, or a little bit harder to know where to put it. You could go here and shrink it down, like so. That's an option. If you didn't want to shrink it down, you could probably get away with, not that one, putting it along the side, like making it, maybe not like super big, but you could get away with doing something like that. Or even on the other side actually, if you're going to make it huge. But that is two options. For this kind of edit, I would actually go probably with the smaller option or a simpler edit, or a simpler tag rather. If I was to make, let's say I put her in the middle. Now, providing you haven't flattened this already, there are ways around this. I'm just putting stuff together so it kind of gives you a rough idea. Say this is your edit so far, obviously we haven't put PSD on it yet, let's just nick that one. Say this is your edit, this is what you want to use, and you're like, how can I tag this? My first option, if you're making the image centered, is to put it behind the PNG, or behind your character, or play by, whatever. So in that case, I would grab the font tag, and I would probably go as big as I could, and I would probably move the one you can't really see and put it like maybe even smaller, like so, or kind of like place it a bit like that. That is one option, or alternatively you can change the font, so you could make it bigger or even go like that, to be fair, that kind of works. Or you could change it to the same font as the other one. Don't rotate it. I have a habit of doing that for some reason on here. Maybe something like that. There are ways around it, but I would always personally go behind the image if you're doing it as that like a larger thing, no matter what tag you really use, to be fair. Let's say you use that one. Edit, free transform. It would look pretty good behind, just as much as it would look good anywhere else. But I would say probably go behind is my main like first start, or you could probably even go like here. Probably not the best font tag to use. But I would say probably like this kind of area or behind. You could go down here, but then obviously you're not going to be looking the focal point you want as the edit, not as the tag. So I would say here or behind would be the best option. Have I got any edits? I can just show you other styles is what I'm thinking of. I don't think I actually have that many on here. So yeah, it's kind of the same thing, like this one I made, it's on the side. This one is just above. This one is just a simple tag. The other one's not mine, it was gifted to me. I don't think I've actually remade any. These are like the ones that I've done for my own pages, but these are stack styles, but obviously I've put a lot of them in the centre. Especially with stacks, I just do think they look kind of better in the centre. I think that's really it. I don't really have many edits of my own. Believe it or not. Not on my on my PC. I tend to just upload them and be done with it. But you kind of get the idea that I'm going at. But if you want, I can do a bit more of a detailed kind of tutorial on font tags and how to tag an image and stuff like that. But hopefully this has made sense, and yeah, sorry I ramble. It happens. But if you've got any issues, do let me know. You can always reach me on Discord. But yeah, thank you for watching.